The Charitable Arts Foundation was established 20 years ago in 1995 to raise funds to support the creative arts community of the Bahamas. The CAF is run by a foundation council comprised only of volunteers, so that every single dollar raised is earmarked for distribution to grant applicants. Approximately 40% of our annual grants go to Bahamian tertiary level students around the globe who require funds for academic degrees in fine art, music, film, writing, choreography, dance, and theater. The CAF also provided financial support for a large variety of cultural programs, musical performances, art exhibitions, theater productions, cultural publications, and film.
The very first time that I got support from the Endowment for the Arts, the Charitable Arts Foundation, was in 2011, I believe, with the Fiber Transforming Spaces tour at the National Art Gallery, where I did an installation in the Middle Passage. And ever since, every time that I have like these overly ambitious projects that require some funding or some support, I would write to them and they would be generous enough to assist me. I also got supported throughout my journey of being a student at Temple University.
The greatest support has been when I did my show at the NAGB. And I know that's one of them, put it that way. And it allowed me the space to be able to do works that I didn't think would have been for sale or I didn't think people would buy. So I made heavy stuff, bulky stuff that I never saw belonging to people's art collection. So that kind of freedom the endowment has allowed.
At any one time, we may have 15 artists working in studios at Pop-Up, and either directly to Pop-Up we've received funding, or individual artists who are part of the Pop-Up community are getting some kind of support from the CAF.
They supported me with my very first film when I returned home back in 1999. I made a film about our Junkanoo tradition called Junkanoo, the heartbeat of a people. I then worked for 4 years on a film about HIV and AIDS in the Bahamas in the early 2000s, 2000 to 2004, where I'm from. After that film really inspired me to write my first narrative feature film, which is called Rain, which was also supported and went on to the Toronto International Film Festival. And my most recent project, which I've just completed in Trinidad, is called Play the Devil, and it's also a narrative fiction feature that I wrote. And the Charitable Arts Foundation supported me also with the development of that project, which was incredible.
Well, the Cultural Arts Foundation is one of the big supporters and very reliable supporters of the Bahamas National Youth Choir. Our work has been ongoing for years, and it's wonderful to know that you can consistently turn to a sponsor that appreciates the work that you do and supports it tangibly.
Having sponsored us for the past 5 years for the spring concert, it simply would not be possible to do these concerts and bring the level of quality collaborating with local and international artists. It wouldn't be possible to do it.
Well, I've had 2 times that I've been supported by the endowment already, which I've been very grateful for. The first time was back in summer of 2012, where I took a ceramics course in China with a group from West Virginia University, and that was my first time being exposed to, Chinese culture in such a raw form. And at that point, it was the decision maker as to whether or not I would go back there to further my education in ceramic art.
I have been back from school for several years now, and I had the opportunity and the awesome chance to work within the art world here in Nassau. And I worked as an assistant curator at the National Art Gallery for several years. And I've just been saving up as much money as I could to return back to my studies in architecture in Toronto, Canada, to complete my degree, which I have 1 year remaining. And it's just been really a challenge, gathering all of my financial resources. But I have been really fortunate after I reached out to the Endowment of the Arts to be given financial support to complete my degree. And that went a long way, and it's pushed me several steps in the right direction. And for that, I'm just so grateful and very, very thankful.
I have 2 artists, sons, one a musician and one an artist, still arts and graphics, now into graphics. And both of those were students one time in school, and they supported them in college, yes.
About 2 years ago, when I was looking to apply to school, I didn't know how I was going to fund my education. I had originally got accepted to do medicine, and my whole family was behind me with the medicine degree, and I decided that's not where I was passionate. I was passionate in the arts. And so you search for funding, because there's funding for doctors and lawyers everywhere, but when you're studying the arts, it's sort of more difficult to find a group of people that are willing to help you because they believe in you, and that's what the Charitable Arts Foundation does.
The people who work for the endowment are all, these are all volunteers. These are people who take time out of their lives to try and make a better life or a better path for other artists.
Many of the persons on the board are people who are in the trenches of the art world here in Nassau, in the Bahamas. They're a part of this community.
They're always in your corner cheering you on. And I think that's what sets them apart from other scholarships. There's like this intimate thing, and you know that they're behind you 100%.
The Charitable Arts Foundation has done so much. And I envision, as we continue to grow and to continue to expand, I envision that the Charitable Arts Foundation will actually consider giving more grants, making more funds available, and I'm so happy that we're having the conversation based on the amount of monies that we can potentially raise, having conversations about supporting young artists who want to pursue a degree, to support them for an entire year, as opposed to making a $2,000 or $3,000 contribution. I mean, it would be wonderful if one day we can start giving sums upwards of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 towards significant art projects.
If I needed to kind of reach out to somebody contemplating why they should contribute to something like the Charitable Arts Foundation, it's a simple reason. I mean, we need to strengthen the undercurrent of the creative community here, and I think that we're on the verge of really beginning to understand and to feel the positive effects of a creative community here.
Without the arts, my God, I shudder to think what this place would be. It'd probably be just a wild, wild west town. And I shudder to think how many people would not see themselves develop and see themselves as important and making a contribution.
It starts to become a citizen's almost responsibility to support this kind of creative energy that we have in the country. I think it would be a huge failure to come this far and to have things slow down at this point. I think that we really are kind of paving the way, and people should be encouraged by what they see and be more encouraged to help more people do things in the future.
As we celebrate our 20th anniversary, we hope, no doubt, the funds raised for Bahamian students pursuing advanced degrees at leading universities in the USA, Canada, the UK, and China, and ask for your support to make this possible in 2016.